Howdy ho, you handsome hunk. Grab a snack and gain some chunk. If your day is great or really sunk, we hope to help you shake the funk. So if you're good to hear some junk, buckle up, it's the Junk Monk Podcast. Hello and welcome to the Junk Monk Podcast. I'm your host Kandyce Sloan, who you know from Instagram at Hardens and Hard Hats.
And I'm Noah, your co-host, who you know from Right Now.
If this is your first time listening, let us fill you in. We are watching and reviewing every episode of the USA hit TV show Monk right here each week.
And we're going to do so while eating a little bit of junk.
I actually brought you junk.
Oh, actually?
Mm-hmm. So it's a surprise for you. So I recently went to Austin on a mini vacay, and I went to the H-Town Market,
which is the best of Asia and America, H-Mart.
Yeah.
Since 1982.
So H-Mart is an Asian market. So I brought some...
Whoa! Lychee drinks.
Some lychee drinks, or lychee, I don't know how to pronounce it if you do. I got some red bean mochi.
Oh my gosh, are these still cold?
No, but they were on the shelf though, at the store. They weren't in the cold section. Because I made sure to get stuff that was dry that would keep.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Cheetos that are in a different language. You can't tell what they are.
I have Google Translate.
But I think I know what it says because it said it in like parentheses on the little price tag.
Mm-hmm.
And also these may not be good at all because I went with my sister and she tried the other type of Cheetos and said they were disgusting. And I was like, well, but our show is known for the Cheetos.
Yeah.
So
we have Cheetos in the logo.
So I got the ones that she'd never tried. So hopefully they taste not completely and utterly disgusting. So then we'll get into it during junk time though. So, all right. Also, you must know I've seen every episode of Monk. I'm a huge fan, started watching in 2007 and for the most part watched it as it aired.
I've seen season 1 and those we've done on the show and a few scattered here and there in different seasons.
So if you're ready to start the show, Toby, take it away.
Here's what happened. Okay, this is Mr. Monk Paints His Masterpiece, Season 6, Episode 14. So, here's what happened. In the opening scene, we see a junkyard owner named Benny Wenworth telling his worker, Hector, to make sure he sets the booby traps around the area before he leaves. Next, we see Benny at nighttime sleeping in his office when a well-dressed man comes towards him with a gun. He insists the man to stop or he'll be sorry. And he is when one of the traps is activated and sends the intruder flying across the yard from a shotgun blast. Monk is called to the scene and finds it so puzzling that a man in a $2,000 suit would be anywhere near a junkyard like that. Meanwhile, Natalie insists that Mr. Monk take Dr. Kroger's advice to start a hobby, and even finds just a thing among the junk, a painting set. Of course, Adrian becomes enthralled with his new hobby very quickly, but mostly due to a certain art dealer that has been rapidly collecting every piece Monk puts out. The rest of the gang is suspicious of the Russian collector, Petya Lovac, especially since Monk's paintings aren't exactly good. Their suspicions are realized when the captain and Randy follow up on the lead of a missing page ripped from the junkyard's records. It leads to Wendy Larson, whose home the canvases come from, and whose father worked at Carson Paper, who is known producing paper for the men. Stottlemyre realizes that every canvas Monk had purchased was wrapped in the most valuable money paper. As they rush to reveal their discovery, they find Lovac at Natalie's house trying to secure one last painting, but luckily are able to arrest him. Monk is informed of his subpar painting skills and goes back to his true art form, detective work.
Nice. All right. That was Mr. Monk Paints His Masterpiece.
It was. Kandyce, ¿qué te gusta about this episode?
Creme marmo triste.
What? What? Creme marmo triste?
It means delicious bamboo salad.
What is that from?
That's from this episode. That's how Randy speaks Spanish.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
You did it? Or, okay, I put...
Because I don't speak Spanish.
No, it's not Spanish, though. Okay.
Wait, what?
Randy is mucho bueno.
Oh, yeah?
Is what I put. And I put Italian? Because every time he tries to translate... You remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah, no,
He fake translate. Okay. Every time he tries to translate for this guy, it's very like he kind of does this. You're like, yeah. That's not Spanish. I mean, yeah, no, it's not Spanish. It's Italian. Like it's what he's.
Yeah.
It's so freaking funny. And the first time he has, he's like, oh, well, yeah, we don't need a translator. I can totally do it.
Yeah.
And Stalmar's like, okay. And then they go to the house and he doesn't know anything. And then the second time they're talking to Hector in what is it? Like some alley or something, looking for something. And Randy's like, oh, yeah. He actually does pretty good, I will say.
Really?
At this part where Hector's like explaining something and he's like, oh, he says that, he was working yesterday, Tuesday morning, and that he saw, a delicious bamboo salad or something. And he's like, a delicious bamboo salad. And he's like, yeah, I think he's hiding something. Stalmar's like, I think you're hiding something. It's so funny, but yeah, that's what he does. It's so funny. And then the guy, what did he say? Like, I think it's Hector, and he's like, see. And Randy's like, yes. The words that anyone can translate. Oh, Randy. So good. So mucho bueno.
So what I liked about this episode was that Monk needs a hobby. I don't know. It's just cute that, everyone needs a hobby.
I know.
And, I personally would recommend a Monk or anyone out there.
Oh, wait. Are you about to hit on my junk time question?
Is your junk time question what is... Spoilers. Okay.
Uh-oh. Was that what you're about to say?
I was going to say what my hobby is.
No, don't. Don't do it, Noah. I beg of you.
Okay.
All right. I'll move on. Okay. That's what I have written down, though, is Dr. K's suggestion. I love it. The past few episodes, we've seen Dr. Kroger, like the last episode, I think he helped with like the actual case, like doing the sting operation. We saw him help Monk. And I can't remember the last thing that we saw him. Oh, the cult.
Yeah.
Where he's been stepping up. I loved this suggestion where Adrian comes to him with how he's feeling unfulfilled. And Kroger's like, well, I think you need to take up a hobby. Like, not everyone's job can fulfill them fully because life isn't only about working.
Yeah.
And for one, that's obviously great advice, but just having a hobby, getting a hobby in its own, I just love that. I thought that was a really great thing. And then also in that scene where Monk is like, I just feel like, what's the point? When I arrest one creep, there's like 10 other creeps out there. And Kroger's like, yeah, but but the victims' families thank you. The city of San Francisco thanks you. He's like, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, it's just the same old thing all the time. Crime scene witness, suspect question. And I was watching this one with Toby too, and we looked at each other and we were like, oh, that was from a promo.
What?
Like a Monk promo. That part where he says, crime scene witness, suspect question. And they put that like in the promo, to like promote Monk. And we both like looked at each other like we knew, oh, that's part from the promo. So that was like very classic Monk to us when we heard that. So yeah, but I love the suggestion and I love that scene. It's really cute.
That is cute. I like how Monk covers his entire house to paint.
Yeah.
The little banana that he messed up on. That was so funny. He's like, I can't do it. I made it flat, Natalie. And she smashes the banana. She's like, you're going to that class.
You're taking the class. That's so good. Yeah, I love the whole first painting scene. I love how peaceful it is, yet painful. Because it's so peaceful when he's like getting everything ready and everything's all covered up and he's, making everything particular. Like you're not mad at it. But then you feel Natalie's pain because you can only imagine how long she's been sitting there waiting for him to paint something. So you're like, oh, this is nice. And then she's like, Mr. Monk, you just got to paint something. You just got to do it. I have to pick up Julie soon. Come on. And so it feels like very like pressure. But yeah, and then of course the banana, and she smashes it and flattens it. It's, no. Before he even paints the banana, she's like, no, Mr. Monk, it's supposed to be fun. You're supposed to mix the colors. It's supposed to be messy and get into it. And he's like, oh, gosh, no. And then she's like, Mr. Monk, please just paint something. You have to paint something. And he's like looking at the paint palette and he's like, I'm thinking yellow. And she's like, yes, thank you. Yellow. I would think so. It's so cute. I love it. I'm thinking yellow.
Trailer Howard is so much better at playing Natalie than when she started. And I really just wanted to point that out because it feels like she's like actually comfortable with playing the role now. Like, she feels like, I feel like it's actually a character. Before, it was like, I mean, I didn't hate her, but like, I don't know.
Okay. I thought the exact same thing on the last episode.
Really?
Yeah, because, and that's what I'll say this with the, like, you know, little clause, because we've had several episodes in a row where she's shined and she's done really, really well. Now, is that a writing thing? Are they making her more integral to these storylines? Or are they making her just more outspoken? Mm-hmm. Or is Traylor Howard getting into it even more and making her presence, you know what I mean? Because it's like, as an actor, you know, there's got to be some responsibility on stealing, you know, quote unquote, stealing the show. Like, oh, you know, Tony Shalhoub just did fantastic. But it's like, we're noticing Traylor Howard doing fantastic, or we're noticing Natalie's character being written in a more outstanding way. So I get what you're saying. I'm not sure what the case is, honestly, but I thought the same thing, but didn't really know how to articulate it. But I'm glad that you brought the point up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's one or the other. They're either writing her character much more outgoing, like the whole Mr. Monk goes to the bank, like, look at you.
Yeah.
Look at you. Like,
and it was like cute, and it was like fun.
Yeah. But even like this type of stuff where it's not, I mean, it's not blatant, like in your face, but she's doing it.
Yeah.
She's doing the deed.
Yeah.
I love it. That's a great point. Okay, of course I put cute, oblivious monk. I love when it clicks for him that he's good at painting. And this is obviously whenever he's in Natalie's apartment and he's in the zone. And me and Toby were both like, is that Natalie's house? Because it's a blank and all you see is like the fireplace. And it like starts zooming out further. And he's cleared out all the furniture. Yeah. Because it's not, you can tell it's not his house because you know what his house looks like. So you like zoom out and you see that he's taken all the furniture out and he's got all the stuff set up. And then he's has a vinyl player and he's playing French music on the thing. It's so good.
He's his little like towel, his sweat towel.
Yep. And he's like so in the zone. And then Natalie walks in and she's like, Mr. Monk, where's all my stuff? And he's like, oh, I just put it out back. And she's like, well, what if it rains? Then it'll get wet. Then it'll get wet. Like what? Like what do you mean? That's what'll happen. And then she's like, what about my curtains? And he's like, Natalie, I need the light. The Eastern light.
Eastern light.
What is he talking about? Oh, man. But yeah, that whole scene is so good. And then Petchelovac comes in and toots his horn for him and everything. And then, oh my gosh, it's so... I hope you gentlemen aren't here to outbid me. Oh, and you're just like... It's so good because everyone's so bewildered, like... Wait, is this real?
Because he was tell. Like, yeah, because he's like all cocky and stuff, and this guy is like making it make sense that he's so cocky. He's like, yeah, I'll take that one for 4K.
And you're like, oh, all right. Oh my gosh, yeah.
His paintings aren't that bad, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Like the one where they were all painting the field or whatever, and Monk was like, "This is perfect," and he was like, "These are the clouds, and they're all circles." I was like, okay, it's not bad, though.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like, what he was saying about his drawing, he was like, I don't know, it feels like you just picked apart the piece and, like, made it, like, good. I was like, okay, he's not wrong, though.
Well, I like how Monk says, this is how I see it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, isn't that what every single artist ever draws? What they're seeing?
Yeah.
Just side note, in general, we've talked about before how we don't get art. You said that you kind of get it, but I've admitted that I don't get it. I've gone to like the modern art museums
and there's some weirder stuff.
They have not weirder, like simple, like this is a giant canvas and it has a circle on it.
Like weirder stuff that's not even as detailed as his. Like,
yeah.
Like that are expensive, which is what makes it weird. Like that's a circle and a square and a triangle
or a swoosh
that is $42 million.
Yeah, and then doesn't he have like a whole thing about a swoosh?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, this is the swoosh, but it's the best swoosh that anyone has ever swooshed or something. And you're like, I've seen that painting, and then when he has like all his little sketches and everything, I'm like, I've seen that.
We were just at the Kimball.
We were just at the Kimball
Art Museum.
Well, we were on the outside though. We didn't see any paintings, but that would have been so cool. We literally went to the art museum.
to take photos of Tobias. Because Tobias really wanted photos for his Insta. So, we took photos of Tobias. He enjoyed it.
Yeah. But yeah, so we totally missed that.
Totally.
We could have went to the art museum on the episode Mr. Monk Paints His Masterpiece. Wow. Totally. Missed an opportunity.
We suck, Kandyce.
Of course it would be Toby's fault.
Let's just quit, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It was literally Toby's fault. That's messed up.
Hey, we're at the art museum and you guys are doing art episode next. That's all you had to say.
Yeah.
This stupid mouth and stupid face.
Yep. All right. Well, okay. Basically, the next thing I put was every single painting scene was gold. Like, it really was.
That's true.
It honestly kind of reminds me of, like, Mr. Monk Goes to the Theater whenever there's, like, 3 different stages of him doing the same thing. Where, like, he's auditioning, or he doesn't know he's auditioning, then he's a part of the play, then his performance, where it's, like, it's the same thing. He's starting off painting, then thinks he's good at painting, and he's getting into it, and then he's really good at painting, and he's wearing his beret and his robe and everything, and now he's like a famous artist. Like, every scene just got better and better. So I thought that was the whole thing. The whole thing was good. I
liked at the end how everyone was like gathered around him and they were apologizing because they were mean to him whenever he started, and they were like, "Yeah, we're so sorry." And then and Monk reveals everything, and they're like, "I knew his painting sucked."
Yeah, that's my dislikes, but yes, it was funny. Yeah, it was, because they're so I can't. I'll get into my dislikes if I talk about it. Okay, my last thing, actually, I'm already on my last thing. Oh wait, no, I'm not. Okay, and I'll save the last one in case you might have it. But his payment for Dr. Kroger. When Dr. Kroger, when you come to their session, and Dr. Kroger has his like kind of leg up in the chair, and he's kind of sitting with his arm, and then you're like, he could just be in the middle of a sentence. You don't know what's going on. Yeah. He's like, "Adrian, we really, want to start the session," and he's like, "Oh yeah, just give me one more second." He's like, "And also I couldn't help but my receptionist said that you didn't bring a check today." And he's like, "Don't worry about it." And he's like, and tears off a sketch, and he's like, "This will cover the next like 5 sessions or something like that." And you see the sketch. Do you remember what it looks like?
What was it?
It's like,
it was the glasses.
It's the glasses. And the lines. It's just like lines and 2 circles. It's so good. It's supposed to be Dr. Crow, and it's funny because it's like, I get it, but I don't. It's like it is him somehow, but it's so stupid. Oh my gosh, it's so good. He's it's like,
so dumb.
But
it's so funny.
I really would like to have that check though. It's so bad.
So when Natalie receives the painting from Monk, and everyone's like looking at it, and it's like, what is it? And like, what's happening here? And Natalie's just building up with anger, and she's building up so bad. She goes, "It's me, okay? It's me." And I love it.
Yes, that's my last thing. I was like, surely Noah will have this. I put pig woman. But I have a mustache. It's shadow. Like, "Mr. Monk, is that how you see me?" "You're a beautiful woman. It's my masterpiece." Oh my gosh.
And then at the end, whenever she's trying to throw it in the fire,
she's like, "No, Natalie, that's our last piece of evidence. That's all we have." And she's like, "Oh, you're right. I understand." Burn it! Yes, but I love how Monk is so proud of this painting, and Natalie is so hilariously horrified by it. But she's so loyal, though, and she
gets offered like $3,000, and she's like, "No, it was a gift. It was a gift. It was a gift." Yeah. And then she could have made bank too.
She totally could have made bank
because it wasn't even.
Yeah, I'm actually about to jot that down somewhere else if I do say so myself. But I love it how they call it. I think what Randy says. Oh, is that Jimmy Buffett? And Stottlemyre says, "No, that's Miss Piggy."
Yeah.
And then Petya comes in and he's like, "It's his pig woman." That's what he says, right? I think he's the one that dubs it pig woman. So funny. Oh my gosh.
I love his excuses for everything on why it's so good. Petya is just coming up with anything and everything on like why he likes the painting and why he wants to buy it. So
he's
funny.
like, no other artist has ever arted like as much as you or something crazy. I've never seen anything like. Yeah, he's hamming it up.
Yeah. So what did you dislike about this episode, Kandyce?
Okay, we've already said most of them. Honestly, the art teacher, super rude.
Obviously.
There was no right or wrong, and then she says it's wrong. That was rude. But I do like whenever she tries to show the Russian
buyer
painting. Yeah, the buyer. It's like, oh yes, but there's other artists here that are also very good. Like oh look, this painting. This one's actually mine. And he's like, no, it totally missed the mark. And what does Monk say?
Monk says it's too wavy.
The lines are all squiggly or something. The lines are too squiggly or something. The lines aren't straight.
He goes, use a ruler. That's what I
yes,
did.
or something. Yeah. Dang it, I totally didn't write that down. Yeah, your lines are way too crooked or yeah. Use a ruler. That's good.
They're too wavy because it was the screaming like lady.
Yeah.
The screaming. What is it called? Screaming lady.
I don't know.
It was a
thing
by Picasso, but it was like
a variation of that.
It was like wedding something, and it was like it was like a bride, but doing the screaming face. Is that what it's called?
That sounds
it was like it was called like screaming wedding, and it was like she had her like gown on and like her veil, and it was like symbolic or something because it had like a bear trap on her foot, and Monk because it's all wavy like the actual thing, and he goes, it's just I don't know, too wavy. She's like, what?
Lines need to be straighter. Yeah, it's good. Have you ever taken art class? I'm sure you've taken art class, right?
Yeah, what?
Okay, because I've never taken art class ever. In junior high or high school.
I don't take it like now. Class. I mean, like I took it as a kid. Not like a separate thing, but like, because my school has...
Because you do drama.
Arts. Yeah, our school has like arts and stuff.
But you never done like the art part, like the art class?
No, like we have band, drama, and art, and choir.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
We did not have that.
So yeah,
that's weird. We didn't have like we didn't in high school. We didn't have band or choir. There was no like nothing like that.
Really?
Well, we didn't have music stuff, but art we had art class, like a vocational thing. I might have told the story though, where we had like wood making. Art, and then there was another one, and you like rotated throughout the year, and my group was the only group that never got to art, so I never took art class. And then I got to high school and everyone else had taken art and I had taken some other class or something, and then by the end of like my senior year, they're like, you don't have an art credit. Oh, because everyone either took drama or art, and that was it. Those were the only two choices, and I never took either of those. And then so I had to par art, which is like where you sit on the computer.
Yeah, no, you told me what parring is.
Yeah. I don't remember if I've told it on the show, but yeah. So you just sit on the computer and you answer questions about art. Like, I don't know. You like read a little bit and then you answer some question. I have no recollection. I took this class in like 3 weeks probably on the computer, zoomed through it, and then was done. And that was my version of art. Oh, I did take college art, but it was online. It was my only online college class I ever took, and I actually took it with Toby.
Really?
And he did some of the work. Ooh. I don't know if I can say that, but he did a lot of the work.
Cops or teachers or... We should just tell cops to just not. Just in case.
Anyone that could get us in trouble for anything the stuff we say, but yes. Exactly. I will say I have a bachelor's in science. That's the only class that I never did. I'm going to stop the story. It makes me look like a bad person. I've never cheated at anything except for probably that.
Yeah.
And it almost didn't even feel like cheating. It was like, really? This is... It
was just like dumb things.
I felt like I was parring art again. I was like, par art, part 3.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I actually took an art history class because in like 6th grade or something, and they're like, okay, art this year is world art or like history art. Art history is what it is. And basically we learned on like, this painting was made this way time and this and that. We never got to do anything. We just learned. It was boring. We just sat there. So then I went to drama. But the thing was, I learned a lot in that class actually, because I would go home and me and my sister would talk about what she learned at college. art history and what I learned, and we were learning the same things.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, I'm impressed.
Yeah. Nice, yeah. I remember in our, like, what is it, like UIL, where you compete? There was an art. I always did the creative writing and the spelling bee thing.
Creative writing's so much fun.
But everybody, like, let's say everybody else, a lot of my friends did art.
Uh-huh.
And it was like you memorized paintings and what era they were from and all this. And I never took it. So I know nothing about art. So when I say I don't get art, I literally don't get it. Because I never learned anything.
It stinks, trust me.
You're like, what is it called? Screaming lady? Screaming... And I'm like, sure. I've seen it, but I don't know.
Favorite painting? Sad guitarist. Thank you. Because I know you're not going to ask me what my favorite painting is during junk time. Because...
That is true. My favorite painting is Smushed Banana.
It's called The Scream. Oh, I'm such a genius.
Okay, there you go. Sounded good.
I knew it was Scream related.
Okay, my next thing is, of course, the Suck Up Classmates. Mm-hmm. I didn't get it at first. Then, like, 2 seconds later, I knew it was something. There had to be something wrong. He does suck. Like, shut up,
it was
goth
funny,
girl.
Though. It was funny, though.
It was funny.
You gotta admit.
But why were they sucking up to him? What's the point of that? Like, what's the point of...
Because you don't want to be known as, like, Picasso before he died. How much people hated him.
Oh.
And then you're, like, in the history books, that's the person who always tore him down. Then look at him now. He is the most famous painter in the world.
That's true. Good point. Okay, I put Pechalovak from Rostov near Moscow. He obviously was the villain, but
that's a plot hole.
But he took advantage of Monk, and of course, that
was my thing. I put they pulled Mr. Monk as a friend on us.
Yeah, I know. I will say the good thing is that he, you knew he was up to no good. Where Hal was a little bit more. Like, it was a little less obvious that Hal was actually going to be the villain. Yeah. Whereas you're like, something's up because he's just straight up lying to him about how good his art is. And so, yeah. And then also you knew that the guy at the beginning was dressed like him.
Yeah.
But he wasn't even paying him with real money. It wasn't like, okay, obviously he was getting... This is a little bit of a plot hole, but I don't think really... He was obviously making a lot of money off of the money paper that he was taking from Monk. So why wouldn't he pay him
more
with real money? Like, he was obviously paying him with that counterfeit money he was making. But he obviously was making money. You don't do that unless you're actually making money. So why wouldn't you pay him real money for his paintings so that he would be less suspicious of you giving, because Monk's a detective and he was hanging out with police officers, so at any point those police officers could have taken that money
and from like okay, this is counterfeit. Wait, actually, was there a way to know it was counterfeit?
Well, there's also a shot in there of when he's holding all the bills in his hand, and it looked really fake.
Well, because they couldn't use real. But it was
they
from,
can
it was
use
from
real
a
money,
paper.
though.
It was from like an actual like money distributing place. That was the crime. Wait, was the old guy in on it who died?
Oh, wait. Oh my gosh, I had that too. Was
he in on it? Right? He was in on it.
Okay, he wasn't. Okay, that's what I asked Toby. And I was like, Toby, where does this old guy fall in on it? Because he took up painting. Mm-hmm. So he actually was painting, but he also worked at that factory. So he must have known that the money was wrapped on the canvases, because why would he have the canvases?
Yeah, but then why wouldn't he give it away? Why did he wait till he died to give it to them?
No. I don't think that he wasn't in on it with the Russian people. He didn't know them. Those were like way after the fact. I think the Russian people somehow figured out that maybe that Carson paper was printing that much. I don't know, dude. I really don't know. I feel like they didn't tie that up good enough. How did those Russian people know about that unless that guy was in on it? But then how would he have given them that? Yeah. I get what you're saying now. I don't know. Why do we always get into plot holes when we get likes? I like it, we've been doing it. We've been dipping it and doing it. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I only have one more thing actually, which is this was a very rude Stottlemyre moment, and I did not like it whatsoever. Stottlemyre sounds like he's being really encouraging. He's like, "Oh yeah, how's your hobby going?" And he's like, "Oh, it's going." And he's like, "Oh, did you make a painting? Is your mommy gonna put?" He says, "Is mommy gonna put it on the fridge?"
Oh, yeah.
I was like,
that was rude. Yeah.
I thought that was so rude and not encouraging at all, and not very Stottlemyre-y.
Yeah.
I thought that was something that he would say to Randy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, in general. Like, it's funny when Stottlemyre says that kind of stuff to Randy.
But, like, Monk is, like, actually, like, trying.
Yeah, well, yeah. He's making a hobby.
Yeah.
Like, his psychiatrist told him to do a hobby. And Stottlemyre's like, is mommy gonna
put it on the fridge? Like, what?
That was very mean. I didn't like that line at all.
Was.
No. Mm-mm. Nope. Don't like it.
Okay, so I did not like how they did not show us the painting until like the very last scene of Natalie.
Okay, yeah.
It's always them looking at it and like, oh my gosh, it's so ugly, and oh my gosh, and this and that and that.
Okay, sneak peek. Our viewer's voice mentions that, I think.
Really?
Yes, and I was, but not to lie, I was confused about it because I thought I did see the painting. Do they not show?
They show it at the end.
They show it at the end. So I guess my memory of the painting.
When she's throwing it into the fire.
Yeah, I think my memory of the painting was there in my head, so I didn't notice that they never showed it. So I was like, dang. I just picture like this ugly portrait of Natalie, but then has like a Captain Stottlemyre looking mustache shadow on it. Oh, because she thinks it's Captain Stottlemyre. And she's like, oh, he's going to love it. He's like, what are you talking about, Natalie? It's you. And she's like, but I have a mustache. Natalie, it's a shadow.
Okay, and my very last dislike, then we can move on to He's the Guy, is Natalie, take that cash. Make that bank. No?
I put that in my plot holes.
That Natalie would have
taken it. I don't know if it's the best plot hole ever because, again, she is a very loyal person. But I was like, wait a second. Money-hungry Natalie.
Okay, yeah, but Natalie also could be not putting up with Monk. And she doesn't get paid well.
We'll talk about some more later. Let's get to He's the Guy. All right.
He's the guy. Okay, Candace. 2 in a row?
Yeah.
You don't have anyone either?
I don't have anyone.
Oh.
Okay. So, if you remember, back on episode 2 of this season, we had Mr. Monk and the Rapper, right? And I also asked everyone, I was like, hey, look, we got 2 guys from Sister Sister on this show. If anybody knows how to watch Sister Sister, let me know. Because I really want to watch that. It's a show, it's starring Tia and Tamara Mowry. And they're twins, and they get separated at birth.
It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
Is that what you're about to say?
Yeah. So I've watched. I have like 1 season left. So
really?
Yeah. So I love it. It was as good as I remembered it being. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I love Sister Sister and their theme song, Sister Sister. It's so good.
Okay, Candace.
Anyway, so but I am to the part already where Ronrico Lee is Tia's boyfriend, which I've already mentioned this stuff, but I'm happy because I actually got to watch Sister Sister. And so I've seen him already, right? Which again, he's Denny Hodges. He's the murderer in Mr. Monk and the Rapper.
Yeah.
And then Snake the Assassin was on there too. And he was, he's played by David Banner. Once again, I already mentioned this in our other episode, but again, I've actually seen him on the episode now. He was just like on a tiny little part, and I was like, oh my gosh, he was on my He's the Guy for this episode, for this show. Yeah. And there he is. So I thought that was cool. And then also they had the Missing Granny from Mr. Monk and the Missing Granny. She was on there. She was on there twice. She was on like season 1, and I was like, hey, it's the Missing Granny. And then on season 2, she was there again as a different character. I was like, hey, Missing Granny. Didn't I already write her down? So yeah, she was like a nice old lady. In the second one, she was a maid or something. I was like, interesting casting choice. And then they had I think it was Mr. Monk. Wait a second, that's Mr. Monk and the Missing Granny too. Whenever Monk goes and takes his test, where he can't pass the test, there's a security guard that's sitting there, and he's watching him take his test, who's played by Hugh Dane, who, for a lot of people will know him, he plays Hank, the security guard on The Office. Mm-hmm. And so his name is Hugh Dane, which he's passed away since, and so has the missing granny. But he played on an episode of Sister Sister, and his name was Walter. And then the last person I have from Sister Sister is our girl Keiko Agena. She was in an episode.
No, she was not.
Yeah, she was like one of the friends or something.
No way.
Yeah, I was like, wait a second. That's Keiko. What the heck?
No way.
So I was like, oh, a little full circle moment there.
That is so good.
But yeah, that's all I have. I will finish up watching Sister Sister. I'll let you know if I see anyone else in the last about season and a half. And yeah, but if you haven't seen Sister Sister, go do it. It's on Netflix. Love it.
Yep. Junk time. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. Okay.
Let us.
Okay. We definitely need to do the drinks first in case what we have is nasty. Now, if the drink is nasty, we're screwed.
Yeah, we're so screwed. Okay, so this is Yo's lychee drink with lychee juice. Don't know what a lychee is?
I do not.
You want me to look it up?
Okay, my sister did recommend these drinks.
Oh, okay.
And then she didn't really recommend. She says she likes mochi, but she didn't really recommend the snacks. But the drinks, she was like, these are so good. And I was like, oh, maybe we can use these. Because they're in like little apple juice cartons. So they were just sitting on the shelf. They're also not cold. So I don't know if they're probably supposed to be, but.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you ready for the lychee drink?
3,
okay.
2. I don't hate it.
I don't hate it, but I don't love it.
It's not better than apple juice. What does it taste like? It tastes so familiar.
I know. It's like it tastes like flavored water, but... Oh, these do not look like Cheetos. Okay, should I tell you what I think the flavor was?
Yeah,
before? Okay. It said barbecue.
Ooh!
Oh, they taste... Wait. They taste like Funyuns a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at these. I really like these.
Oh my gosh. They feel like regular mochi, but not cold.
So mochi, this is red bean mochi. I don't know if there's...
I've never had red bean mochi before.
It doesn't really taste like anything.
I've had mochi before. It was better than this.
Let's take
this is good. No, this is good. Probably my favorite.
Mine goes Cheetos, mochi, then lychee.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's get into a question. Noah, what is your favorite hobby?
Woohoo! Kandyce, my favorite hobby, you might be able to tell, is Legos. Woo!
What? No way. That's, I mean, obviously, I see there's Legos all over, but I wouldn't have thought that. Elaborate. Tell us more. What do you love about Lego?
Creativity aspect of it. You can build whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want. And... you know, you sit back, you get to put in your room a nice little decoration. My second hobby, Minecraft. Woohoo, Minecraft. Woohoo, Minecraft for the win. Can we get a round of applause, Toby? Thank you. So basically Minecraft is like Legos, but you have no limit at all. So you just get to... There's so many different aspects to Minecraft that makes it so enjoyable. Because you can build, you can fight, you can adventure... And I have a lot of fun playing with my friends. So, yeah, Minecraft for the win. What is yours, Kandyce?
We've actually talked about a few, I think, on here that I participate in. One is like woodworking. I do love making stuff. That's fun. Obviously, literally making stuff is pretty creative, but also cooking. We talked about how we both like to cook. That's fun. But something that I never really even thought about as a hobby, honestly, that I do a lot that I think is very creative is home decor. Mm-hmm. I love decorating, and I just love how you can be creative. And I know there's like, themes or whatever, but it's like when you stick to a theme and then you have a vision and you don't stop until you get that vision right, exactly how you want it. I just love that. And then at the end of the day, literally at the end of the day, your home is so cozy and it's such a nice place to come home to. Just because you put in a little bit of effort, and sometimes a lot of effort, but a little bit of effort to just make things all spruced up. I love it.
Whenever I go to your house, it's always a nice little seasonal trait, like especially in fall. That's probably my favorite season to go to your house, fall, because all the warm colors and it's all pretty and it's fun. But also, Christmas is a whole nother story because everything's all fancy. And there's fancy food, fancy cups, fancy everything, fancy It's magical.
I love it.
Every time.
I do. It's true. I deck it out.
So
and also, there are people that have listened to the show, and they follow my Hards and Hard Hats. So they're actually over there. Oh, so that's interesting to cool. see people who've seen my stories or like my photos and stuff. And I'm like, oh, they're actually listening to me when I say at Hardens and Hard Hats.
Yeah.
I'm like, duh, I say it every video.
Yeah.
How do these people find me? Oh, yeah. But, okay, my next question is, what is a new hobby that you would like to try?
Let's see. Painting, obviously.
But you're pretty good at drawing already.
There, yeah. I mean, not to brag or anything, but I did make our logo. I like to draw. I feel like painting's just so expensive for no apparent reason at all. Like, I have iPad Pro with Apple Pencil. The best thing you can have at the moment if you want to not take anything too seriously but just have fun. So there's no point in having to buy more paint every time.
But it would honestly, Monk did make it seem like it was very peaceful and fun, and you could just like put on some music, and then
yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah, I showed you my vinyl player. Speaking of my home decor, got a huge retro vinyl player for $62. I'm really excited about it. I want to redo it and make it all fancy, but yeah. So just like turn one of those on and cover up your stuff, and then just paint in the Eastern Light. Sounds so fun.
I guess, but I don't know, Candace.
Is there anything you've ever been like, man, I wish I did that?
I wish I was good at making and producing songs. Because that's one of the coolest things that you can go, hey, look at what I made. And people being like,
and people will listen to it, and yeah. Like even is it like, oh, I made an hour-long podcast that I do every week, and you're like, oh, I don't have time for that. But you have like a 3-minute song, and everyone's like, oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's what I was literally about to say that. Like, the standards are different, because you're like, oh, you're a 12-year-old kid who has a podcast? Okay, cool. You're a 12-year-old kid who makes songs that are decent? That's good.
Oh, but to be fair, before we made this podcast, we made our own song. Remember?
That's true. I'm ready. Yeah. Candace did most of it, and then I was like,
But it was so good. And you wrote one of the verses too, so.
I did.
Yeah.
I'm proud.
So yeah, but that would be really cool. I would like to get into that creative side also with writing songs. That'd be really cool, and have a little studio with that. And I agree, but I'm gonna go with ballroom dancing.
Oh, Candace is such a dancing freak.
You know, but see, like, it's like, oh, try something new. Like, technically, I do know, like, 15 seconds of one of the Dancing with the Stars songs from, like, 3 years ago. But I would love to learn the rest of that, for one. But I would love to take a ballroom dancing class so much. That is, like, what I literally put it on my birthday and Christmas list every year, and no one has ever gotten it for me.
What?
Yes. And I would love that so much. I was like, But yeah, I would love that, to learn some salsa or some tango. Yeah. I did take a tango class, in Spanish class. Our teacher made us do a little tango routine. So that was fun. But yeah, I loved it. And then now I watch Dance with the Stars. I'm obsessed. So I would just love that. Yeah. So yeah, junk time's actually over. If you want to go ahead and...
Plot holes.
I'll just do my first one because I already kind of said it. Natalie doesn't take the cash for that. But we already kind of debunked that.
And then I have mine that I already also said. The guys in suits are kind of obviously the mob.
Yeah. Okay, this is a little one too. The record player, when Natalie's getting all frustrated and she's like, it's me, the painting is me. And then she goes over there and does the record, and then it goes like, and scratches. Yeah. And she's like, but I love it. The record did not... All she did was lift the needle and put it back where it went. It wouldn't make that noise. Yeah, that was just random. It was like... That's not how records work. I would know. I have 2 record players now.
That's true, you do. I have also a little one. Natalie wasting her time for no reason. She could have left him painting at any time to go pick up Julie from whatever she needed to be picked up from.
Yeah, like, wasn't
she was like doing Sudoku or something, like just sitting there.
Yeah.
Do you understand Sudoku? I do not understand Sudoku at all.
Really? I'll help you. It's super easy. Okay, the concept of it is super easy, and it's really fun. It's very mind-bending. I love it. I'll show you later. It's actually really fun.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Another little one, but The captain didn't get a translator after Randy lied the first time. Obviously lied.
Yeah.
Creme.
Okay, so my next plot hole is Monk should be good at painting, right?
Why so?
He's good at remembering things and how they look. Like, the fact that he has to keep on looking over at the banana. Like, he messes it up and he's like, oh, dang it. He should be good at just... Like, I thought that's where they were going to take it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's actually really good.
Mm-hmm.
And he, like, outshines everyone in the class or something.
That is a good point. I really like that. I was also thinking, which I didn't write down, but I was also thinking the fact that we were saying basically like the paintings we thought they were kind of good, like what was wrong with them. If he could have figured out like a way to take what he had and like put some brush strokes on like that scenery or whatever and like done that instead of just like a sketch and like, you know, like it would have been a good painting. So it's like you said, wouldn't he have had like, because his handwriting is like immaculate. Uh-huh. So obviously if he can handwrite perfectly, he remembers what things look like. Yeah. And has perfect, you know, penmanship. Like he writes perfectly. So yeah. I agree with that. I feel like that would make sense that he'd be a good artist. But again, subjectively we thought he was. Like well, there was nothing wrong with his painting. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I just looked up modern art. It's a red paintbrush that was just scribbled on just a canvas, a giant canvas, might I add. But it is $15.3 million, Candace.
And you're telling me Monk's paintings weren't worth what the guy was paying?
Yeah.
They were, people.
They totally were. Minimalist modern art. I'm about to get so mad, Candace. Minimalist modern art. Oh, no.
Circles. You can make that stuff with tape.
Yeah.
Just tape it, paint it. People literally do that all the time. They paint their walls.
What is this?
It's painting inside the lines.
Oh, no.
If you're an artist and you would like to rant
to
us.
But, oh, geez.
Sorry, but we're dissing your craft.
I know.
My next one is, they would not let Monk burn evidence like that.
For real. Just doesn't make sense.
Toby did hand me that one too. But
he did?
Yeah. Wow. Oh, I wasn't going to give him credit, but I totally debunked his other one, so I feel bad. I'll throw him this one. But yeah. There's no way. And then he was like, there's no way they would let him burn that. I was like, oh, that's good. I'm writing that down. And then he's like, Natalie, no, you can't throw it away. It's our last piece of evidence. I'm like, then why did you let Monk burn the other pile of evidence? And then Toby was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's all I have, Candace.
All right, my last one would be, why would Natalie think that mixing colors and being messy would be a good hobby for Mr. Monk?
That's true.
You're just supposed to mix the colors together and just be messy and have fun.
That's what I was thinking, like, good idea in theory, but then whenever you do it, you're like, wait a minute, there's so much more to this, because he's,
I like the novel thing. Oh, why didn't you write a novel? But then, what? No. Like, what would it be called? And what would I write? And what would the character say? And then what would they say back? And okay, fine, forget the novel. So, yeah.
How crazy was Monk this episode? Plus crazy moments.
I got a lot. What do you have for crazy moments?
I only have 2.
Oh my gosh, what are they?
They are, Monk is afraid of dancing, and Monk covered his house to paint.
Yeah.
Why is he afraid of dancing? It makes no sense to me.
It's like, oh yeah, Dr. Kroger, I want to take a ballroom dancing. Oh, me and Kroger, same thing. Yeah. Anyway, and he's like, I'm not gonna dance with you. It's like, no, I wasn't talking about dancing with you. I didn't dance with you. I can't dance with you. Like, I'm not asking you. Shut up. Okay. Oh, out of 10 what? Duh.
Out of 10, circle clouds.
Out of 10 flattened bananas. Monk's also afraid of clouds. And he drew them.
Growth?
Or plot hole.
Or plot hole. Growth or plot hole.
You be the judge. All right. Here we go. When he feels unfulfilled, blah, 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 blah. He doesn't care. He doesn't want to write a novel. Uh-huh. He can't mix the colors. He wants to replace the cloth when he gets one drip on it. And Natalie says he's already replaced 3 cloths without painting anything. His perfect paintings themselves are a little kooky. Natalie's stuff is out back. He needs the Eastern Light. He tells Natalie now Julie can go to college with one of his paintings. He makes Dr. K pose in their session and doesn't bring him a check.
Oh, yeah.
He's invigorated. His beret and his outfit. He says Petya Lovac is ungoogleable. And then the last thing is fresh eyes. You gotta look at it with fresh eyes.
Okay, Kandyce, I am standing by what I put.
Okay.
And it is low, and you named all those, and I only had 2.
Okay.
But I'm standing by what I put. It's low. It is a... Wrong thing. It is a... This is going to be drum roll. Which is the classic. Okay. It was a 2 out of 10.
Because you only had 2 things?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's not why. No. It's...
I stand by my 2 things.
It makes sense if you think about it, but if you're looking at it from an outsider perspective, it doesn't make sense that Monk is so, like, cocky about his work. But I think it's justified because if my paintings were selling like that, Kandyce, I'm quitting the podcast. I will never speak to anyone again.
That's, yeah. Okay. And not gonna lie, out of 10 flattened bananas, I gave him 7. And I kind of don't really know why. I guess maybe because my list was so long. But I think, honestly, it was mostly because of how he thought his paintings were so good.
Uh-huh.
And that he didn't, again, as a detective, right? Mm-hmm. He's not just a normal artist. He's a detective. He didn't think that the money was counterfeit. Mm-hmm. He wasn't suspicious of the Russian guy at all. Oh, yeah. His art teacher was telling him how bad his paintings were. Mm-hmm. And so he wasn't, like, putting the clues together to make it like, think about it, Monk. There's something wrong with this guy.
And then at the end he was like, okay, this sucks. Like, this doesn't make sense. My paintings are terrible.
Yeah. It took that one detective clue for him to say, oh, wow, I do suck.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I gave him a 7. Maybe too high. Yours might be a little low, so I think it makes sense.
Yeah. Agreed.
Ew.
Oh, it's
so gross.
Cursed. Okay. Rate this episode. Okay, Kandyce. What would you rate this episode?
All right. Let's do our viewer's voice. We haven't done it yet.
We have not.
I'll let you do it. It's our super monker, Luke Sec, right?
Yay. Okay. So he says, I love this episode with how Monk really thinks he's good at art. I think it's interesting, but his art is subjective and someone really could have liked it. They're not bad. It just shows how Monk sees things. I still wish they showed the Natalie art. I really tried to get that frame that had it, but it's not that easy. I'm giving it a 10.8. I'm using your rating system, and I finally get it.
Yes, the rating system is catching on. I love it, people. Because, as you know, no Monk episode deserves under a 10. So, you gotta start with a 10, people. And then, you add upon. So, Noah, what did you give?
I gave this episode a 8 out of 10.
Really?
I put, and I quote, kind of recycled, I don't know.
What does that mean?
Because it was like, I don't know, I felt like it was a little too close to Mr. Monk Has a Friend. Mm-hmm. Mr. Monk Makes a Friend. Mm-hmm. And
I got those vibes for sure.
Yeah, the way that, like, he grows close to him or whatever, and he cuts him off. So, yeah, I mean, it wasn't too close, which is why it didn't severely impact its rating. But overall, it was a good episode, and it was fun to watch, and it had me confused, because I was like, why does he want his paintings? And it was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's true.
So what would you rate this episode, Kandyce?
Okay, very cute episode. Oblivious Monk is the best. I love Monk taking up a hobby. I thought that was a great idea. Like you said, it was very makes a friend vibes, mm-hmm. But I think that the premise of him having a hobby, that was a good idea.
Agreed,
I like that. Even though it doesn't pan out, the hobby, I love that this is an adventure that we got to see. I really appreciate that. Also very childlike and a very sweet episode, right? The mystery is a tad lacking, but I will say that I remember the first time watching it thinking the same thing. Yeah. Why does he want those canvases? Or, not canvases. Why does he want those paintings? So, but I am going with a 10.8.
Look at us.
Look at us. Look at us.
Look at us. 8 out of 10.
And so Luke thinks the same thing. Right?
Gosh, yeah, 10.8.
10.8, and just a regular stupid 8.
Oh my gosh.
Yay, we did it.
We totally did.
Whoop, whoop. Yeah, you know what? We never talked about how Luke made that really cool unboxing video of our Junk Monk box. Because he won last month, I think. And he has a YouTube channel called Brothers Web. And he totally posted him opening our box and all the goodies that he got in it. And it was cool. You saw it, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, cool. I think I saw your comment on there. I was like, yeah, no one needs to see this. I shared it with you right away. I was like, oh my gosh, look at this. And because he told me he was going to do it, so I kind of gave him a heads up and told him, like, because we write, like, letters in there explaining what every item is. And so I told him, don't read it if you want to be surprised at what's in the box. So he goes through the whole box, and it's like a blind unboxing. So it's really cool. And then he, you get his, like, genuine first reactions on all, like, his book that he got. He got the cool Junk Monk mug. Yeah. He got the mug that he really liked, which I think those are really nice. Yeah. So I was really excited for him to open that. But yeah, it's a really cool video. Make sure that you go check out his channel and that video. And I think I also saved it under our YouTube channel, under Junk Monk Vids. Like, I have a playlist. So that would be the easiest way for probably you to find it on our YouTube channel. But yeah, I think that's it. I think we're good.
We are good, Kandyce.
So, scale of 1 to 10, the mochi.
Okay. And
the lychee and the Cheetos.
Can we rate them in order? Like, which one we like the most?
Oh, like rank them?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I kind of did that already, but...
Oh, yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Oops.
I was saying 1 to 10.
But, mochi first, lychee... Mochi first, lychee second, Cheetos third is for me.
Really?
Controversial, I know.
I mean, nobody else knows what they taste like except me.
Super controversial.
For you. I like the Cheetos the best. Surprisingly.
Really?
I thought they were going to be really, really... Well, my sister also said they were really gross, the other ones. And so I was pleasantly surprised by that. Whereas she hyped up the other two things. And
lychee drink wasn't terrible. Overrated, wasn't terrible. Mochi, I enjoyed thoroughly. Who doesn't love good mochi?
I would say the Cheetos were like 7.5. The mochi was probably a 6.5. And the lychee was like a 4.
Okay.
But I also don't like flavored water at all. I don't like fruity drinks like at all. I don't like Gatorade.
Okay, I'd rate the lychee like 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Mochi, 9 out of 10. Cheetos, 6 out of 10.
Okay.
Not the best.
Fair enough.
Not the worst.
I mean, I recommend, trying stuff, but I also have no clue where you could find it. So.
Yeah.
At your local Asian market.
They
had everything, though. They had, like, squid. They had, like, a whole seafood area.
What?
And they just had, like, I guess they were dead, right? Because they weren't underwater. But just, like, piles of octopus. And, like, dead fish. Like, the seafood. Like, you go to a seafood area, like, in Central Market, it doesn't smell. This smelled like there was dead animals. Like, dead sea life everywhere. It was crazy. It was cool. They had, like, ducks. You know how they have the ducks, like, out. And it was very cool. It was an experience for sure. But it was very fun.
Thank you guys for listening. Me and Kandyce had a lot of fun making this. And, Kandyce, do you have anything you want to say?
Nah.
Okay, well, guess that's it. Bye, guys. Adios.
Mucho bueno. Hey guys, thanks for listening to the Junk Monk Podcast. We'd love to hear from you, so please give us a 5-star review wherever you listen to podcasts. Also, follow us at Junk Monk Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.
If you want to know more about Kandyce, she is at Hardens and Hardhats on Instagram. And if you want to know more about me, Noah L., subscribe to my vlog, Noah Hernandez, on YouTube. Also, you can leave us a voicemail at 323-366-0477 with your questions, comments, or just to show us some love.
Don't forget to catch up on Monk with Amazon Prime Video, and of course, subscribe to our show.
You'll thank me later.